Hey there, Divine Inspiration up here. Today I'm coming to you with a tutorial on how to set up the KIP checker node on a Linux VPS. So I've set up my node for some time now. It's running, so that means that the setup that I did was successful. And as always, I'm going to share the guide with you to guide you through the process on how to set up yours as well. As always, I have provided a Medium post with a detailed guide on how you can set up the node so that you don't have to type the commands. All you have to do is to just do a copy paste and then you'll be good to go. Now the KIP team also did a very good job by providing a very good documentation with respect to how you can set up the node and stuff like that. And what my Medium post is going to do is to supplement a few things that were not in this guide. Now to begin with, all you have to check is to look at the minimum requirements for setting up the node. So with a KIP checker node, you're going to need 64 megabyte of RAM, 1 CPU core, 10 gigabyte of disk space, and 1 megabyte of internet connection. Now this is a very light node, but however, take note of the fact that what they mentioned here is that the requirements are going to scale linearly. So that means that the requirements that are here are currently for 1 checker node license. If you do have 2 checker node licenses, then it means that everything here is going to be scaled by a factor of 2. So please do take note of that when you are selecting VPS to choose to run your checker node. Now, as usual, the advantage of setting up a lot of nodes is that I have experience with working with different VPS providers out there, and I always find what the best VPS provider is going to be with respect to what the resource that is required to run the node is. Now, if you do have 1 checker node license or 2 or 3, I think the cheapest that you can get would be RackNet. So this is exclusively if you only want to run the KIP checker node. Now I'm going to review the price that they have. If you have 1 checker node license, my perspective is that you don't have to pay for any VPS provider for more than $10. So here with RackNet, you're going to pay $10 a year, and this is way more sufficient to run your KIP checker node if you have 1 license. So I'm using RackNet also for my ATA checker node because I have only 1 ATA checker node license and have never had a downtime. So that means that although the price here looks very cheap, the stability of the VPS server was very good. So here you're going to get 1 CPU core, 20 gigabyte of SSD space, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 1.5 terabyte of monthly transfer, which is way more sufficient to run the node. Now, if you have 2 checker nodes, for instance, like I said, the requirements are going to be 2x, so you could go with this option here because here you're going to have 2 CPU cores, 40 gigabyte of SSD, 2.5 gigabyte, and stuff like that. So just check the requirements and scale it linearly to see if it makes sense. Now, if you do have 3 checker nodes, then with RackNet at the point, it doesn't become the best option because you're going to have to pay like $40, and there I would recommend that you go to Contabo. So I've used Contabo and I've also showed Contabo in most of my tutorials. From a price resource perspective, Contabo is the best. So here they're going to give you, for instance, for the Cloud VPS 1, where you're going to pay $5.36 a month, you're going to have 4 CPU cores, 6 gigabyte of RAM, 400 gigabyte of SSD, which is way more powerful if you just want to run 1 KIP node, right? But of course, if you have like 3 licenses or 4 licenses, then it makes sense to go with the Contabo option. And also, if you do not only want to run KIP node on your VPS, if you want to run other nodes on the VPS, then of course it makes sense to go with Contabo instead of RackNet. But here's what they do have several VPSs that are available. Just check the one that would fit for you. Like I said, if you have 3 or 4, then the Cloud VPS 1 option is going to be the best. And here as well, if you take the Cloud VPS 1, you would be able to run other nodes on it, like combining Carve, ATA, and stuff like that. I'm running 6 nodes on my Cloud VPS 1 and I'm not seeing any issues there. So just choose which one is going to work best for you. Now the last one that I'm going to show you is DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is quite a reliable VPS provider out there as well. The reason why I do recommend DigitalOcean sometimes is that if you are not sure if working with VPS is going to be the best option for you, then you could also go with DigitalOcean because they're going to give you $200 free credits for I think 2 months, where you can basically test out their service and see if it's going to work for you. So for instance, if you set this up for let's say 3 months and you realize that this is not working for you, maybe you want to move to a NAS provider, then you can basically cancel your subscription and then set up your node in any way that you want to set it up. Now for all the ones that I'm talking about here, I'm going to put my referral links in the description section. I'll be extremely grateful if you sign up using my referral link because this goes to support the channel so that I can continue bringing some good quality content like this to you. Now for this tutorial, because I'm going to set up just 1 checker node license, I'm going to go with the RackNet, which is the 1 GB $10 a year. I think this is the best that you can get in terms of a price perspective, and I'm going to show you how you can order one. The ordering process varies with every VPS provider, but the basics are always the same. The most important thing that you need to take note of is the specification, then the operating system that you want to use. Now for RackNet, just come here and click on order now. And then very important, you can see that what I'm showing you is a Black Friday deal of 2024. That's why the prices are pretty good. Now here, like I said, you're going to be paying $10 a year, approximately $11 a year, which is way compared to what the other VPS providers are taking. Now, the very important thing here for the operating system, please select Ubuntu 22.04. The default is always our max, but I would recommend that you go with the Ubuntu 22.04 64 bits. Now, when you do that, just click on continue, make the payment, and after that, they're going to send you the credentials to log on onto your server, and I'm going to take you through the next steps. So after you place the order, the email that you're going to receive from RackNet is going to look like this. From the email, the only thing that you need is the IP address of the VPS server. I'm going to blur my out obviously because I don't want to share this. The username is always going to be root, and the password that you're going to use to connect to the VPS server is what is stated under root password. Now, these are the only three things that we're going to need in connecting to the VPS server. If you decided to go with the Contabo option, this is the email that you're going to receive from Contabo as well. Mine is in German, but don't worry, the layout is going to be the same irrespective of which language that you have. And from Contabo, the only thing that you're going to also need here is the IP address, which is going to be stated here. The username is always going to be root, and the password is going to be the password that you provided when you were purchasing the VPS server. So for Contabo, you're going to put in the password when you are setting up the server. For RackNet, they are going to send you the password by email. So just make sure that you take note of these with all the different providers that you're going to be using. So now that you have gotten the credentials of your VPS server, the next thing that we're going to do is to connect to the VPS server. Now, there are several applications that you can use to connect to a VPS server. What I'm going to show you, for instance, is one application that is called Putty, because it's a free application that you can use. I'm going to put this also in the description section if you want to use it. So when you come here, depending on the operating system that you have, just click on the one that fits your processor, download and install the application, and you'll be good to go. If you do not want to download any external application, most of the operating systems that are out there come with an inbuilt console to connect to the VPS server. So for instance, if you're using Windows operating system, there is Windows PowerShell, which I'm going to demonstrate to you. If you're using a Mac, there is Terminal, and all these are inbuilt application in the operating systems that you can use to connect to the VPS server. Now, if you want to connect to the VPS console using Putty, this is how the Putty application looks. Now, all you're going to put in to connect to the VPS server here, you're going to click here, you're going to type root. Root is the username that it provided to you, and here is independent of whatever provider that you use. The basics to connect to the VPS server is always the same. So root is the username, and you're going to type at, and then you're going to paste in the IP address of your VPS server, and after that you're just going to click on open. So if this is the first time that you're connecting to the VPS server, Putty is going to ask you if you are sure you want to connect this. If you are very sure that you're using the right credentials and the right IP address, just click on accept. And then here Putty is going to ask you the password of your VPS server. Now, for the password, when you are typing in the password, you do not see the password that you are typing. So my advice is always to copy the password into a clipboard somewhere, come into the console. When you right click into the console, you do not see the password, but the password has been pasted, and just press enter. And then you can see now that I'm connected to the VPS server. Now I'm going to show you another way that you can connect to the VPS server if you do not want to use any external application. And here you can use an application that is built in Windows that is called Windows PowerShell. So just click on the start bar and look for Windows PowerShell. So this is how the Windows PowerShell looks like. Now in the Windows PowerShell, the connection is a slightly different because you're going to need a few more commands. If you want to connect to the VPS server, just type SSH space root. Root is the username of your VPS server. Type at, and then put in the IP address of your VPS server. And after that, just press enter. And then here, if you're connecting to the first time, just like we did with Putty, Windows PowerShell is also going to ask you if you are really sure you want to connect to the server. If you are sure, just type in yes, and then press enter. This is going to add the fingerprint. And here the same as well, it's going to ask you for the password, just like we did for Putty. Copy the password somewhere, come into the console, right click into the console, and then press enter. And then here as well, you can see that I'm connected to the VPS server. So there are several applications that you can use. The option is yours, which one that you are more comfortable to work with. Now, beyond this point, I'm going to use an application that I use that is called Temios, because I like to use Temios because it saves all the credentials of my VPS server that I can connect to anytime. But like I said, the process is technically the same whether you use Putty, PowerShell, Terminal, or whether you use Temios. Now, like I mentioned before, all the commands that we're going to use, I've already provided this in my Medium post, so do not worry about typing all these commands. All you do have to do is just do a copy paste, and then you'll technically be good to go. Everything is cooked for you to make the process a bit easier for you. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is to update the Ubuntu operating system. So step one, just copy this command here, come into the console, right click to paste the command, and just press enter. So here it says that it's a pending upgrade. Don't worry, just press enter to choose OK, and then here as well, just choose OK, and then then you'll be good to go. Now this is done. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to install two applications that we're going to need. We're going to need Screen to manage the session that is going to be running KIP, and we're also going to need an application like Unzip to unzip the software that we're going to be downloading for the Node application. Just copy this to here, come here, paste it into the console and press OK, and then the Screen application and the Unzip would be installed. Here as well, it's going to tell you the same thing. Don't worry, just press OK and then OK, and then you'll be good to go. Now we're going to create a Screen session that is going to be called KIP. So a Screen session, you can think of it like a box within which you run an application. And what Screen normally helps you to do is that it allows you to run each application in its own independent screen. Now this is the best way to be able to manage nodes, for instance, if you are running multiple nodes on a VPS server. So what this command means is that create a Screen session that is called KIP, and that's all that it means. And then just press enter. Now what you see is that it clears everything that we had, because we have now entered a new space within which we want to run the application or the node application that is called KIP. Now this is a very important part. Now we're going to download the application or the checker node application itself, and here I'm using a wget command to pull the software from this URL. It could be that by the time that you're watching the video, there's going to be a newer version of the KIP software. So currently it's the version 1.0.0. It could be that there's going to be a newer version that when you're watching this video. The most important thing is that always come to the Node hub here and then find the URL to the latest version of the application. Now when you come to the Node hub from KIP, click on download checker node and right click here for CLI for Linux. When you right click on it, just choose copy link address. Now when you copy the link address, come into the console, type wget space and then just paste in the link address. Now this is exactly going to look the same as what I have here, but like I said, it could be that there's going to be a newer version of the application that is going to be released that is not going to be version 1.0.0. That is why I'm teaching you how to get that updated link every time. Now just press enter and this is going to download the checker node application. Now the application that we downloaded is a zip file. You can see this is the name of the application. It's a zip file, and that's why we installed unzip. Now what we're going to do is we're going to extract the unzipped file. I'm going to copy this command here, come into the console, paste in the command and press enter. Now here, very important as well, beyond this point, anytime you see a command that is specific to a version and there is a newer version of the application, please make sure that you adapt this accordingly, right? So here I'm still working with this 1.0.0, so I'm just going to press enter. Now this has unzipped the file. So for instance, when I type ls, you would see that I now have the zip file that I downloaded, which is in red, and I have the blue file that is a folder that is in blue. Now what we're going to do next when you come to step 5 is we're going to change into the directory that is containing the checker node application. Now to change into the directory, just copy this command here, copy, then when you come here you paste it in, it pastes this in. I'm going to show you another easy way to do it. When you type cd, so maybe the time that you are watching this there will be a version 1.0.1, just highlight what we have here, the blue one, come here, paste in, it's going to paste whatever that you copied in the earlier step and just press enter. So now you see that the syntax has changed to the roots at whatever it was, and then we now have also the folder that we have entered. Now this is a very important part. We're going to add the application part to the system environment variables. Now what this means is that you can use, so when I type ls here, you see that I have a folder that is called KIP node, right? Or I have an application that is called KIP node. Now this would allow me to be able to run the KIP node application every time, irrespective of where I am in the console, and that is why we need the step. By the way, most of the things that we're doing here is also outlined here, but like I said, here they said that cd into the directory, and that is what we just did, and then copy the current working directory. That's what we're going to do, and there is also add to system variables, and that's what I'm going to be doing with you as well. So when we come here, the first thing that we need to do is we need to fetch the location that we are. Now to do so, just type pwd, enter, and then this is exactly what we have here as well. And now we have this path here. We're going to use this path. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this path here, and I'm just going to paste it somewhere in my notepad. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add this path to the environment variables. Now to do so, please copy the command that we have here, copy, come into the console, paste in the command and press enter. Now Nano is just a text editor, and then we're going to be editing this file here. Now here it looks very complex, don't get overwhelmed, just press down. I also don't like to see these commands, it gets a bit scary. Just scroll down all the way to the bottom, and the only thing that we're going to do is you're going to copy this command that I have here. Just copy this, right? I'm going to go to my notepad. So this is my notepad. You remember that we copied this URL here, right? And just press enter and then paste in the command. Now please pay attention here. Currently the path is like this because I'm just using the version 1.0. whatever that I have. Now if for instance in the case that you are doing yours there is a version 1.0.1, like I said, make sure that you paste in the path that was generated by the pwd command and just replace that path here, right? So remove everything to this point and just put in your path. Like in my case, it's the same path that I have because I'm still using version 1.0.0. If you're watching this video and there's only version 1.0.0, then lucky you can just copy whatever that I have in the Medium post and you'll be good to go. But if the newer version has been updated, please make sure that you update this in all the commands that are also version specific. So I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to come into my editor, just right click in the editor. You see that it has pasted this command that we did here. Now we're going to run from this screen because it begins to look a bit scary. Now to leave here, just press Ctrl X like you see here, and then it's going to ask you if you want to save this. Press Y, and then it's going to ask you if you want to write the file to this file. We're going to write to this, so just press enter, and then the file has been updated. So when I go back into that file and I go to the bottom, you see that the path that we added is already here, and the Ctrl X that we entered in the beginning is for exit. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. You can see that all the commands that I use are here. So Ctrl X is going to exit this, and that's what I basically did to do that. I'm going to press Ctrl X here. It's not going to ask me to save because I've not made any changes to the file. Now that was the only complicated part about the whole setup. Now the next stage, we're going to apply the changes that we did. We're going to copy this command here, come here, paste in this command, and just press enter, and technically we're good to go. Now beyond this, everything is easy peasy, right? And promise me it's going to get easy as we move forward. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a Burner wallet address. Now a Burner wallet address is going to connect the node that we are setting up here to our NFT. So the NFT, we're going to go to the node portal from KIP, and we're going to connect our NFT to this node so that the work that this node is going to be doing is going to be rewarded to our wallet or to our NFT. Now to do so, we're going to create a Burner wallet. Now to create a Burner wallet, just copy this command that we have here, come into the console, paste in the command. Just a minute, let me clear everything because it gets messy with all the things that we have at the top. I'm just going to type clear, I'm going to press enter. Now it looks a bit cleaner. So we're going to paste in this command here, then we're going to press enter. Now you see that the Burner wallet address has been generated for me. Please pay attention to this wallet address here. I'm just going to copy this. Oops, I made a mistake. Sorry. I'm going to clean this again. I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste this in the notepad just to keep it somewhere. So this is my Burner wallet address, and I would also recommend that you keep it somewhere safe. By the way, if you forget your Burner wallet address, you can also use a command to fetch this by using KIP node. It's not in my tutorial, but it's just the same KIP node wallet exports. Sorry, I used a wrong command. It's supposed to be, I'm still adapted to the commands that I had from ATA, but the right command is KIP node wallets. So like you can see here, KIP node wallet list, and then this is going to list the Burner wallet address for me. So for instance, if you want to export this wallet with a private key, then you're going to use the command that they have here, KIP node wallet exports wallet address. But I'm not going to confuse you. I just want to show you how to fetch the Burner wallet address if you misplace this or something. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy the Burner wallet address that was generated for us, and then with this Burner wallet address, we're going to delegate our NFT to this Burner wallet address. Now we're going to do the delegation on the KIP node hub, and this is how the portal looks like. Now when you come here, just click on connect wallet and connect to the wallet that contains your KIP node NFT, and then after that, just come up here and click on dashboard, and then now you can see the dashboard. So currently I have just one license that is running. Like, don't get overwhelmed. The only thing that we need to come here is come to the section here which is called the node delegation, and currently you see that my node is running because I delegated it somewhere else. Now don't worry about it. I'm just going to undelegate this quickly so that we can do the delegation together. Now most likely yours is going to be free. Now remember that everything that we do here on this portal that has any interaction with a wallet, you need some gas fees on Arbitrum because everything here takes place on the Arbitrum network. Now I'm going to proceed with the delegation. Just come here, click on delegate, and then we're going to choose delegate to our own wallet, and then here you're going to paste in the Burner wallet address that was generated for us on the VPS console, and just click on delegate. So here I'm going to sign the transaction. Like I said, everything is on Arbitrum. The advantage with Arbitrum is that the gas fees are very low, so you don't have to like empty your wallets to do so. I'm going to click on confirm, and then I got a confirmation that the delegation was successful. So when I refresh the page, you see that my delegation status is pending. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the VPS, and we're just going to accept the delegation to connect this NFT that I have to my node. Now to do so, my preferred easiest way is to use this command here that I have as KIP license approve all. Now what this is going to do is it's going to approve every license that is delegated to your Burner wallet address. Now if you want to make this specific to a particular license, I'm also going to show you how you can do so. When you come to the setup guide and you come here, there is approve checker node license, and there's also list checker node licenses. Now if you want to find out what nodes or what licenses are delegated specifically to your node, you can use this command here. I'm going to copy this command here, KIP license list -- address, whatever it is here. I'm going to paste in this command, and then the only thing that you're going to have to do is to remove everything here. So basically I'm going to remove everything here, right? And I'm going to replace this with my Banner wallet address. I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to press enter. And you see that it shows that I have one license. So the license ID is 4193, which is currently pending. Now, if you want to accept the delegation, you can also just use the same command here, KIP license approve -- license. And then here you're going to put in the license ID, which is going to be 4193. And then you're also going to put in, for this section here, address, you're going to put in the wallet address, which is going to be the Banner wallet address. I think if the KIP team is watching, I think this could be a bit confusing. So preferably you guys should put in here Banner wallet address to make it a bit easier for users to understand, because when I was using this the first time, I also got confused. I thought it was the wallet address that is containing the NFT, but this is the Banner wallet address. Now, like I said, this is a bit complicated, so the very friendly way to do it, if you have, for instance, multiple licenses, it might be annoying to do it for instance, if you have 20 licenses, you can't be doing this for every license that you have. And that's why I recommend you go with the KIP license approve all command. And this is the same license that I also have here, right? When you copy this, you come here, you paste this in and approve and enter. You see that it shows that license 4193 has been approved. So now if I recall the command that I had before, which is KIP license list blah blah, and I press enter, you see that the delegation status is now going to change from pending to confirm. So that means that I have accepted the delegation. Now, if you have other nodes, or if you have other licenses that you want to, maybe you have other licenses on another wallet that you want to add to the checker node, it's technically the same. Just copy this Banner wallet address that was generated, go to your KIP node, delegate those NFTs that you have on the other wallets to the same Banner address, and then when you come here, just run the KIP node license approve all command, and it's going to pick up the delegation, and technically you'll be good to go. Now, the last most important thing that we need to do here is to start the node application. So everything that we have been doing so far, we haven't started the node application. Now, to start the application, we're going to use this command here, KIP license start all. I'm going to come here, I'm going to paste in the command, and I'm going to press enter, and now my node is up and running. So when you start to see ping successful, task execution successful, it means that the node is technically working. And also when I come back to my node hub, you see that my license status is delegated and the license is running. But hey, don't click off. There is one more important thing that we have to do. Now, before I talk about that important thing that we have to do, if you're finding the tutorials that I'm creating helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. It also lets me know that the tutorials that I'm teaching you guys are helpful, and also subscribe to my channel to boost my channel to help me to come up with some good tutorials like this for you. Now, this is very important, extremely important. That's why I also highlighted this as important in my guide. Before you leave the console, if you are running the node in the screen, please minimize the screen before you go. With some applications, immediately you close the console and you don't minimize the screen, it terminates the screen sessions. So whenever the screen session terminates, your node stops running, and that is what you do not want, because if you stop running the node, you stop losing rewards. And this is also what KIP highlighted here. Attention, if you quit the application, the node owner will stop earning rewards. So please, before you leave, make sure that you minimize the screen. And how do you do that? Like I said here, you press Ctrl A on your keyboard and you press D. Now come onto the console, just press Ctrl A, leave the keyboard and press D, and then you see that my screen is minimized. So when you come back into this session here, it means that the screen is minimized. If you want to go back into the application, just use the command screen -R KIP. So if you remember, we created a screen that is called KIP here. I can go back and show you this command that we created here. So the KIP here, that is a unique name of the screen that we created. So this command here is basically going to tell the console, please restore. So R means restore or resume, I don't know whatever it is, the screen that is running the application, or the screen that is called KIP. So when I put in this command here, you see that it brings me back into the console. Now before you leave, like always, press Ctrl A D. Now if you are running multiple nodes on your VPS server, I'm going to be coming up with a tutorial on how to do multiple nodes on a VPS server. Maybe you have several screens that are running, so use the command screen -ls. This would list all the screens that are running. Maybe you don't even remember the name that you called your screen session. For instance, when you use the command screen -ls, it's going to list all the screens that are running for you, and then you'll be able to remember which command, which ID to use to restore or to resume the screen. So folks, that's it about how to set up a KIP checker node on a VPS server. If you do have any questions, I have my own Discord server community. You can hop onto my Discord server and ask any question that you would have. You can also put this in the comment section, and I'll be very happy to help you out. If you were successful in setting up the node through this guide, please comment in the comment section to provide some feedback to me that you were successful in setting up the node. Now with this, I say thanks for watching this video and see you in the next one.